the second cause is not just violence or killing, but it is even more, serious. It is looting, cheating, and misappropriation, corruption, all that. A kind of moral departure based on, let us say, stealing. What does not belong to you, you knock it off in some way or other. Adinna dana, in our terms, is the second cause for these extreme forms of anta, extreme forms of religious practices. That you can see. You go to so many temples here, there are all kinds of pujas going on and all kinds of rituals. I heard a devotee who had become, who is a very ardent follower of or he made out of Dr. Ambedkar, who became a Buddhist, because he was convinced that this is the only teaching, religious teaching or spiritual path that can solve the problem of his community from the most unjust and degenerated state of being untouchable and all that. So now this ex-untouchable, now a big officer, his daughter has to be married. He goes on telling, he quotes Ambedkar everywhere and makes out that he believes in Buddhism and all that. And then he goes to some pujari, he calls a pujari. The pujari gives a big list of this puja, this thing, that thing and all that sort of thing. 95,000 rupees just for the simple puja that the girl will have to be married. It's not even a fee for marriage, not even that. And gladly he gave that money. And he is supposed to be, one who doesn't believe in this kind of thing. So, believing something, acting in a certain way, that is something. Having profound conviction in some principles, that is something else. So Buddha wanted to be very sure. So he said, look here, if you want to hear the Dhamma, which liberates you from the sufferings of worldly existence, which brings about enlightenment in you and transforms your mind so that you can never become a victim of this kind of false beliefs and false practices, then you are better be out of this kind of perverted practices. So, here the second reason, first reason is violence and animal sacrifice. Every religion throughout the world, everywhere you have this. In the name of religion, lot of killing, lot of violence, lot of torture and all that. Then stealing, misappropriation and so on. In the name of so much of all kinds of rituals and rites, all kinds of external practices which have nothing to do with religion in the sense. Religion deals with mind. It should deal with mind. And not merely deal with mind. By intellectual knowledge you know so many things but you never practice them, so you get nothing out of it. But cleaning up of the mind. You clean up the debris which is lying in your mind, which you have carried from life to life for maybe from thousands and millions of years. You clean it up. That is the purpose of spiritual life. And it should be also for religious life to some extent at least. There is a difference between spiritual life and religious life. Religious life is at a lower level of cleaning up the mind. Spirituality is totally at a higher level. So now, this ritualism, rites, external practices which have nothing to do with a purification of mind, purification of morality, none of that. Purification of knowledge and wisdom, nothing. So, this is the second. The third is even more, serious. That is telling lies. Musavada in the name of religion and religious practice. You go to Kerala, I've been there, I've stayed there for more than a year, doing some sadhana there. My goodness, what a large number of people, very religious people with lot of vibhuti in their head all the time, on their forehead. And all kinds of people doing various rituals, various pujas, all sorts of religious practices and religious beliefs. All kinds of uniforms they will put on. Black cloth and this cloth and that cloth. All kinds of external, everything external. Nothing to do with cleaning up of the mind, purification of the mind. Now, in the name of religion, in the name of deities, in the name of gods, there are any number of temples and places where they say, if you give a sacrifice to your son or to somebody, this will happen to you, you will get this, you will get that, this success will come, and so much of money will come, so much of that will come. Or if you are suffering from cancer, that will go. All lies, 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 plain lies, in the name of religion. So this is the third is a base for extreme forms of religion to prevail. They prevail. Nobody can stop. I was told that even today the newspapers, news do appear once in a way, where children have been stolen or taken or some such, some kriya, some Devi puja or some such thing has happened. The children died or the child died or something that kind. You see, some tantra, mantra, some of these things have happened. All secret things. So, three reasons for the prevalence of extreme forms of religious practices and beliefs. One, violence. Two, cheating, misappropriation, stealing, etc. Taking what doesn't belong to you. Third, lying, plain lying. That is the worst form. And the fourth is by any means. You see, panchakama guna. That means anything which tickles your five senses. That means with the eye you see nice objects, beautiful objects, and you fall for that object. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. These are the five senses. And connected with these five senses, in the name of religion, whatever practices, religious practice leads to pampering these five senses and even abusing these five senses. Now, for instance, Devadasi's system, a kind of prostitution practiced in the temples, never mind elsewhere. These things go on even today. So prostitution, kamesu vichachara, the worst form of, let us say, mental defilement, where you develop such perverted attachment for the body and your sex madness, and thereby you perpetuate samsaric misery ad infinitum, without an end. Sex life is meant, or it was meant, when human beings did not know what sex is. They did not have sex anyway. According to the Jnana Sutta, man, there was no such thing as man or woman at the beginning. They were just human beings. They were known as creatures, sattva, not even man or woman. Later on, as they fell in the ladder of evolution, so then this thing came that you see, man and woman got separated. Then they developed their, you see, the sex part of life. Then they became father, mother, and all that sort of thing went on much later. But then, by then they had damaged themselves sufficiently to know that this is a tool which can be destructive and devastating. So let us keep it only for regeneration of the species. Meant only for the regeneration of the species, otherwise our species will be finished. Will turn into animals. So now, this in the name of religion, how much of sexual perversity goes on is nobody's business. I have seen in the name of, in my earlier religious life, you see in the Himalayas, they were having kirtan, and they got so frenzied with that kirtan. One young fellow and a young girl, they just embraced each other in the kirtan, and they say, "Oh, Krishna has come," appeared in their minds. They are having Krishna's love. Oh, what a wonderful thing! They are doing their Radha Krishna business here. So these young fellows were forgiven. But the religious person under whom this was done, that person was stern and didn't allow them to come anymore. That was very good. So, when emotion comes, the mind gets blinded. And many religious practices which are supposed to be wonderful, like bhajan and kirtan and this and that, are nothing but pleasing the ear and enjoying a good music. So in the name of music and religious music at that, you can indulge in sexual or sensual indulgences, sensual pleasures of all kinds. You can satisfy your sexual pleasures, your sensual pleasures, in the name of music, in the name of art, beautiful images, beautiful artistic products. In the name of religion, again, you can have wonderful cinema, wonderful music, wonderful drama, all kinds of natakam, you see, dramatic performances and all those things go on in the name of religion anyway. And they satisfy these five senses fully. So in the name of religious practices or practices connected or associated with religion, you see, or using even high-flown language, you see, where you say, oh, art, fine art, or this thing, that thing. you can still be indulging in sensual pleasures, kama. So, if you are really serious about cleaning up the foul debris which is inside you and become an enlightened person, go beyond sex, beyond sense, beyond kama. Be in that sublime plane of spirituality, of purity, of moral purity, to begin with, where all actions are, you see, morally purified. Then where the purity of mind, where the entire mind is purified through meditative process. Then purification of knowledge and wisdom, insight, through the practice of vipassana meditation and wise cultivation, wise yoniso manasikara, wise consideration, wise reflections of all kinds. There are spiritual practices, there are spiritual exercises by which you can bring about this purification of your life. Totally here and now. And Buddha guaranteed that, and he did bring not one, not two, not 100, not 1,000. Millions of people have become, beings have become enlightened, liberated from the sufferings of worldly existence. Longer you fester in samsara, greater the amount of debris, kilesa, you collect within yourself, all through your karmas. The plain fact. And if you want to face your plain fact, then be honest. Then be prepared from the very foundation level of spirituality to follow the Panchashila. So then the Buddha said, look here, all these perverted, all these different, extreme manifestations of religious practices and beliefs, all that invariably leads to apaya, to the lower planes of existence, not even to the human plane. And even if you somehow or other you manage to come to the human plane because you have done some good deeds like dana, even in these religious practices which are perverted, there are people who do a lot of dana also. So because of that, you are born in the human plane again, but you have no eye, no ear, vikalanga, your senses don't work. Or if you have an eye and ear and all the other senses, but you are a dumb fellow, you never understand what truth is. Even if the truth is presented to you in a very simple and clear way, you can't understand. Your mind simply will not be able to comprehend. That kind of person, to be born like that, has no meaning. So if you want to get out of samsaric suffering and these unfortunate, possibilities which are brought about in the name of religion by perverted views or rather extreme views, extreme beliefs and extreme practices. They are known as anta. So the Buddha then started, he said the solution for this is middle path. Majjhima Patipada. Patipada is translated as path, but it simply means, a mode of life, living, a conduct that acts as a path. How can a conduct act as a path? What exactly is path? A path is where one must walk. A path is something which must have a beginning. A path is something which must have an end. A path is something which means motion, movement, which is in a dynamic state all the time, which is characterized by motion, action. So this way of life, Patipada, is a way of life. Metaphorically, it's a path, a dynamic mode of living, which amounts to a threefold training and a threefold development of the personality. Training and development, they go simultaneously. The more you train yourself, the more developed you are. So the training program starts with action, because life is action. Think deeply. What do you do from first thing in the morning till you retire in the evening? Whole day or the whole time waking, you see the hours where you are awake, you are doing something. You are either thinking or imagining or fantasizing, all kinds of mental activity, speculating, or you are speaking, talking, or you are, doing something physically. So everything, the threefold action, kayena, vacha, manasa. So the whole day or the waking, this way, when you are awake, you see, all that life means is action, threefold action. So life being action, start the training program with action. It's as simple as that, as logical as that. So start purifying your action. Get rid of the tendency of killing, tendency of destruction of life and property, etc. No destructivity in your scheme of living. Give up killing. Give up stealing. Give up, it is giving up. It is refraining from. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. I voluntarily undertake to practice, to refrain. I voluntarily undertake to refrain or abstain from